Drained my mother's energy so severely that she would sleep in bed for like 2 years. She could hardly get out of bed. Because it caused her so much depression, too.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 films surprisingly based on a true story.
You don't want the truth because deep down in places you don't talk about at parties, you want me on that wall. You need me on that wall.
For this list, we'll be looking at any film that people didn't realize was based on reality. These movies were inspired by actual events that weren't as widely known or advertised. Just to be safe, there's a spoiler warning for the following films. Did we forget one of your favorite movies? Let us know in the comments below. Number 10. Footloose.
Dancing, right? That's right.
What?
It's illegal.
Jump back.
That's true.
This popular 1980s dance film borrowed its storyline from an actual Oklahoma town. Elmore City banned public dancing for fear that it gave teenagers unholy ideas. Since religion ruled the day in that town, they didn't hold dances for over 80 years. High school students, much like the ones in the film, finally convinced the local government to overturn the ban in 1980.
Could not dance in public at all.
Dancing forbidden by a city ordinance until the students stepped in.
This story motivated writer Dean Pitchford to create a movie based around a similar town. It resulted in the enduring hit Footloose, which spawned the career of actor Kevin Bacon and a successful soundtrack. While the views of Elmore City changed over the years, this narrative famously questioned their puritanical views. Number 9. 50 First Dates. 50 First Dates was a romantic comedy starring Adam Sandler and Drew Barrymore. Barrymore's character suffered from a kind of amnesia that resets her brain memory each day.
She has no memory that she ever met you.
What about the pineapple picking thing?
She says that every day because each morning she wakes up thinking it's October 13th of last year.
Some thought that her brand of amnesia wasn't possible, but real life begged to differ. Michelle Philpotts survived 2 traumatic accidents, each injuring her head and inducing regular seizures. All of this contributed to her inability to keep new memories more than a day or even a few minutes. Her tragic condition made Lucy's plight in the film seem tame.
You had plans and a life before you met me, and now all you have time for is to make me fall in love with you every day.
While it hasn't been officially verified that Philpotts herself influenced 50 First Dates, her case did provide proof that a similar condition existed, meaning the story is still based in reality and making it eligible for our list.
Would you like to meet your daughter? Go say hello to Mommy.
Hi, Mommy.
Number 8. Cheaper by the Dozen.
In '98, Nigel and Kyle got us to that crazy number 12. But by then, Tom and I were experts at managing chaos.
Not only was Cheaper by the Dozen a remake, it was based on a semi-autobiographical book. Ernestine Gilbreth Carey and her brother Frank Gilbreth Jr. wrote the novel about their family of 12. The large family lived in New Jersey and their parents had much different professions than shown in the film.
So the real family is Frank and Lillian Gilbreth, and they married in like 1904. There were actually 13 children.
Frank Gilbreth Sr. and Lillian Moeller Gilbreth juggled a dozen kids and their work in engineering and psychology. Apparently, the father had a good sense of humor that made the casting of Steve Martin especially apt. The original book, along with the 2003 film, received a successful sequel that carried on the family adventures.
They say that starting a family is an act of optimism. Well, Tom and I were clearly very, very, very optimistic.
Number 7. 8 Below.
Just say one more trip, huh? We'll get you over to McMurdo for the winter. Does that sound good?
8 Below featured an inspiring story about sled dogs surviving in Antarctica. The film was a remake of a 1983 film named Antarctica, which recounted a 1958 Japanese expedition. Originally, a research team on the frozen continent were forced to abandon sled dogs to escape a bad storm. Upon their return, 2 of the 15 animals survived. The 2006 movie updated the story to the 1990s in a Disney facelift with Paul Walker.
This may not be easy what we find.
No, I know that. But whatever we find, the dogs deserve this trip.
Regardless of the changes, both the genuine and fictional tales demonstrated the dangerous Antarctic conditions and the brave sled dogs that traverse them.
I don't believe it. Good boys. My 5 lucky stars.
Number 6. The Conjuring.
I'm so afraid this thing wants to hurt us. I mean, you have a daughter. Wouldn't you do anything you could to protect her? Please, please, can you come and take a look?
The Conjuring delved into the age-old horror tale of haunted houses. In the film, a terrified family invited paranormal investigators to examine their Rhode Island home. Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga played the ghost hunters in question, based on the lives of Edward and Lorraine Warren. Their New England Society for Psychic Research explored alleged supernatural cases, including the infamous Amityville haunting. Their accounts of paranormal activity at the Perron household and the exorcism mostly rang true for surviving members of the actual family depicted.
That house, we had much happiness and many happy times together, but we had horrible things happen too.
Skeptical members of the public disagreed, but the fact that there's a kernel of truth in The Conjuring made it all the more freaky.
Hey, wanna play hide and clap?
Number 5. Newsies.
Pull a Turnhurst! They think we're nothing! Are we nothing? No!
We stick together like the trolley workers and they can't break us up.
Newsies brought song and dance to a vintage New York setting. It also depicted the events surrounding the Newsboys' strike of 1899 in the city. While they might not have sung in real life, this Disney retelling gave people a glimpse into the struggle. Their brave actions forced the New York Journal and New York World papers to take notice, ensuring better treatment and wages for the young workers.
A lot of people took the side of the Newsies, the labor unions of the city, and of course their parents, but of course the rival competing newspapers of the World and Journal.
Director Kenny Ortega and composers Alan Menken and Jack Redford captured the spirit of the movement in a series of compelling musical numbers. Not an immediate success, the movie and story lived on through a Tony Award-winning musical.
Hey kid, read that.
Take this. Read this.
Know how to read?
Number 4. Rope.
Well, the Davids of this world merely occupy space, which is why he was the perfect victim for the perfect murder.
Alfred Hitchcock's 1948 film Rope examined two men that planned the perfect crime. Adapted from a play, the inspiration for the killers was fashioned around the crimes of Leopold and Loeb.
Couple silver spoon Chicagoans
decide that they are so intellectually superior that they can commit the perfect crime.
They too wanted to test their deadly theory about getting away with murder. Instead of hiding a victim in an apartment, they drove a young victim into the country and killed him. Their methods were changed for the fictional version, partly due to the one-location staging and Hitchcock's long camera take experiments. The film engaged in theories about their complex relationship and twisted philosophies. In the end, the movie explored a more concise and theatrical version of the events.
Right. You're perfect.
We have to be, Philip. We agreed there was only one crime either of us could commit. The crime of making a mistake.
Number 3. A Few Good Men.
William Santiago threatens to rat on Dawson of the Naval Investigative Service. Dawson and another member of his squad, PFC Loudon Downey, go into Santiago's room, tie him up.
Aaron Sorkin wrote down A Few Good Men on cocktail napkins before he became famous. He turned the scribblings into a play, then adapted it for the screen in a hugely successful film. Some people didn't know that Sorkin's lawyer sister Deborah told him about the events that would inspire his first major work.
What's that mean exactly? Sir, a Marine falls out of line. It's up to the men in his unit to get him back on track.
The author's sibling was a defense lawyer for the accused soldiers in the real case. Based around a Marine hazing incident at Guantanamo Bay, the author altered the original tale for creative purposes. Giving the courtroom drama an authentic bent, the movie felt all the more authentic for its connection to reality.
You want answers?
I think I'm entitled.
You want answers?
I want the truth!
You can't handle the truth!
Number 2. Heat.
I do what I do best. I take scores. You do what you do best, trying to stop guys like me.
Director Michael Mann spent the runtime of Heat examining the relationship between criminals and law enforcement. Robert De Niro's Central Bank robber was built around the life of Neil McCauley. His escapades eventually brought him down, much like the protagonist of the movie. McCauley was also pursued by a detective not unlike Al Pacino's character. Mann's extensive research on real criminals provided an additional authenticity to the storytelling.
Charlie told me the story about Neil McCauley. He killed the real Neil McCauley in 1963 in Chicago. And there was this wonderful duality about how he related to Neil McCauley.
It went behind the scenes with thieves and replicated their home lives. One of the many reasons Heat resonated with audiences was its ability to expertly capture the emotions of people on both sides of the law.
Guy told me one time, don't let yourself get attached to anything you are not willing to walk out on in 30 seconds flat if you feel the heat around the corner.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications.
Number 1. The Terminal.
So all the flights in and out of your country have been suspended indefinitely. And the new government has sealed all the borders, which means that your passport and visa are no longer valid. So currently, you are a citizen of nowhere.
Steven Spielberg's comedy drama about an Eastern European man stuck in JFK International Airport drew inspiration from a real man. An Iranian refugee named Mehran Karimi Nazeri wound up stuck in Paris's Charles de Gaulle Airport. While Viktor Navorsky spent less than a year in the title location, Nazeri remained for a whopping 18 years.
Beyond those doors is American soil. Mr. Dixon wants to make it very clear to you that you are not to enter through those doors. You are not to leave this building.
The film tapped into the natural humor of the unlikely situation, with jokes centering around Tom Hanks's fish-out-of-water character. While it transplanted the nationality and setting, the central story dug into the absurdity of living in a terminal. Its blend of pathos and comedy made the unexpected premise believable and enjoyable.
It's snowing in the city, and you're gonna need that. Good luck.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from WatchMojo. And be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.